Hey, this is Zulem Urbina, and tune into the relay for the latest news in boxing all around the world. Thank you for supporting myself and other female boxers. We truly appreciate it.
Welcome to the motherfucking relay. We're covering today's top boxing news. Ow!
Okay, we'll start with this per tweet from International Boxing News. Shields versus Jonas is in jeopardy. We understand that the rumored fight between Natasha Jonas and Clarissa Shields will not take place next. The fight was reportedly set to take place in April or May in the UK. However, a deal could not be reached.
I gotta be honest, I was never crazy about that fight.
It's strange with Natasha, because by all rights, she is the woman to beat at junior middleweight, even if she herself is not a true junior middleweight.
She's not. She's a great boxer, don't misunderstand me, but she's a fighter who moved up from 130 up to 135, all the way up to 154.
She's not a true junior middleweight. She doesn't have a junior middleweight's frame.
Smoking Joe Gallagher said Tasha Jonas is ready and wants the fight. It's down to Boxer to get it done.
Mark Taffet, who handles the career of Clarissa Shields, said, "Then let's go, Boxer. Clarissa Shields versus Tasha Jonas is a super elite matchup. This is what the fans yearn for."
I think it's a mismatch.
A unique set of ingredients that allow Tasha Jonas to campaign as a junior middleweight, a unified junior middleweight champion, a successful one. But it's a unique set of ingredients, the fact that she's faster, sharper than most junior middleweights that are out there. And
She's got a speed advantage on most of those girls, and she can box.
not a true junior middleweight. Opposite the ring, Clarissa Shields, she'd be outgunned. She'd be overmatched. She's not faster than Clarissa.
Because while she's faster than most other junior middleweights, she's not faster than Clarissa. And while she can punch a bit,
Clarissa Shields herself is not known as a puncher per se, but I'd wager she punches hard enough to hurt Natasha Jonas, punches hard enough to perhaps knock her out. You heard what I said.
knock her out.
Natasha, she won't have speed on Clarissa. She won't have size or durability.
Got a lot of disadvantages, unless we forget she is many years older than Clarissa Shields.
Just telling you, while it's a unique set of ingredients that allow Natasha to campaign as a successful junior middleweight, none of that is going to be working for her opposite the ring, Clarissa Shields. None of it.
But you know they might still salvage this fight?
They might. There's still plenty of time between now and April, now and May, to get the deal done. Clarissa Shields herself, in light of this news, took to her social media and stated, "What kind of champion thinks they get a backyard fight already after losing? If Savannah Marshall wants another chance at being undisputed at 160 and wants revenge, come to America. I already came to the UK and won. Let's run it back in America."
She tagged her promoter, Dimitri Salita. She tagged Peter Fury, Savannah's trainer. She also tagged Sky Sports and Boxer.
It's not an outlandish request from Clarissa that the rematch, the second fight, take place in the United States as opposed to the United Kingdom. But like I've said many times before, if you want the rematch to happen in the United States, who's going to pay for it? Because Clarissa's promoter, Dimitri Salita, he ain't got no broadcast partner. He ain't got no network deal, no network money.
So how do you do the show? How do you pay the fighters? On what platform is it going to take place?
Questions that need answers. If the Natasha Jonas fight falls through and Clarissa and Natasha don't end up fighting, this would be Clarissa's only other option.
A Savannah Marshall rematch.
Savannah Marshall, who, to my knowledge, is still promoted by Boxer, still boxes on Sky Sports.
Yeah.
Those are UK-based outfits, you know, Boxer and Sky Sports. They don't do fights in America.
So I hardly think the money's going to come from them. I hardly think the money to do a second fight is going to come from Sky and Boxer to do a fight in America?
You're going to need an American promoter and an American platform. A Showtime, a DAZN, an ESPN, or somebody to do the show in America and promote it, because Boxer ain't gonna do that.
If it's in the UK, they'll do it, but Clarissa don't want to go to the UK. At least not for that fight.
Not for the rematch. I don't see Top Rank stepping up. I don't see ESPN getting involved.
They don't seem to be.
Now, Matchroom could, in theory they could, but why would they?
Why?
They ain't got no contract with Clarissa, and Savannah Marshall left them for Boxer.
She used to be a Matchroom fighter, but she left. So Matchroom's supposed to swoop in and save the day now?
I wouldn't bet on it. That leaves only the PBC, and the PBC, they don't really have female fighters. They don't have any female fighters under contract.
Clarissa Shields used to fight on Showtime, but that relationship ended well over a year ago.
2, actually. 2, maybe close to 3 at least. Clarissa Shields herself stated that they tried to cut her pay.
She was with Showtime for a while before that relationship ended, but in so many words, Clarissa Shields said they tried to cut her pay.
So in a nutshell, if what Clarissa wants is for Savannah to come to America for the rematch, which really isn't an outlandish request, it's not, there still is a question of who's going to pay for the fight and who's going to promote it in America, because Boxer don't promote shows in America.
They cater to a UK audience.
Not a US audience, and venturing into a new market is a sizable gamble. For them, it would be a big gamble if they were to try to do the show in America.
This ain't their town.
There's a scarcity of options for Clarissa Shields moving forward because she's already beaten the who's who fighters at or around these weights, 168, 160, and 154. That leaves only Natasha Jonas, who she hasn't fought, but that fight's in jeopardy.
You could try to do a Shields rematch, but she don't want to go to the UK. She wants it here.
So it's a bit unclear right now what's next for Clarissa. In men's featherweight news, ahead of his first title defense as the newly crowned WBA featherweight champion, Leigh Wood says Lara won't have to look for me. I'll be right in front of him. You know what you notice? Now that Leo Santa Cruz isn't a champion anymore, and Gary Russell Jr., suddenly the featherweight division is a more vibrant, exciting division than it has been in recent memory. From the outside looking in, he looks very dangerous, admitted Wood. He's got that devastating win over Josh Warrington. There's a lot of things he does well, and he is dangerous, but in the same hand, there's a lot of things that he does very poorly. You can't get away with that at this level, with the right fighter. He doesn't have to come looking for me. I'm going to be right in front of him. I'll meet him in the middle of the ring. When he walks into the ring, he's going to be met with a very hostile crowd. No one is going to walk into Nottingham and walk through me. It's not going to happen. I can't see it reaching the halfway point, and I will win by way of knockout.
You hear what Leigh Wood is saying? That he's not going to spend the whole fight playing keep away with this guy, staying behind his jab and moving lateral. He's going to meet him in the center.
And for what it's worth, I believe Leigh Wood. The question is that the right course of action? Is that the right strategy? Give the puncher what he wants. Make yourself easier to find.
You sure you want to do that?
There was never going to be another fight. It was always going to be Mauricio Lara next. He said a few things which made it quite personal. He said that I faked my injury, and he said that all the English are running scared.
We know that this fight was scheduled some months ago, and we know that the plan changed, that eventually talks for Leigh Wood versus Leo Santa Cruz kicked off, and they never materialized.
Leigh Wood was Leo Santa Cruz's mandatory challenger back when Leo was this division's reigning WBA champion, albeit an absentee champion that had not actually fought at the weight in something like, 3.5 years.
Remember, he moved up in weight, picked up a title at 130 pounds, then he lost it to Gervonta Davis, then he was out for a while, he had a comeback fight.
But the comeback fight was still at 130 pounds. In spite of coming back, Leo Santa Cruz, a reigning WBA featherweight champion, was still allowed to keep campaigning as a super featherweight.
Then eventually the WBA orders him to fight Leigh Wood. That goes on for a while. He decides he's going to chuck the WBA title in the air, so it went to Leigh Wood. Here we are.
In spite of Leigh Wood saying it was always going to be Mauricio Lara, there was a time when it was supposed to be Leo Santa Cruz. Over the years, things change. You don't always want what you wanted when you started. Some things do stay the same. It was winning the British title, boxing for and hopefully winning a world title. And the third thing is to fight at City Ground. Now I've just got one more thing to do. Win this fight, and I believe it's done.
We'll see what it is and what it ain't.
The people down at the ground have really gotten behind me my past few fights. It's going to be a special atmosphere, this fight. It's going to be even better. Last time, it was the split with the Nottingham lot and the Irish. This time, it's predominantly going to be the Nottingham fans. They'll be singing and making lots of noise. It's going to be lifting.
Yeah, just be careful you're not the one getting lifted by Mauricio Lara.
Leigh Wood's trainer, Ben Davison himself, he's doubling down.
He's saying the same thing that Leigh Wood is saying, that Mauricio Lara won't have to look to find him. Leigh won't be running away from him.
You sure you want to do that with a guy who punches as hard and as often as a Mauricio Lara? A mid-range to inside pressure fighter who's got a lot, and I mean a lot of power. Is this really the best course of action?
What's the strategy here?
If the plan is to stay within striking distance of Mauricio Lara as opposed to maintaining distance from him, if the plan is to stay with him, the plan must be to work off the counter and catch Mauricio between the shots, between the punches, because so long as you're within striking distance of him, he's going to let his hands go.
He's gonna throw.
You can use that as an opportunity to get off counter shots, counter punches between his shots. Hit him with stuff he don't see.
Punches he don't see. Those are the punches that knock you out.
Theory, and at least on paper, it's actually not a bad plan, not a bad strategy. It's probably not what Mauricio Lara expects.
He's not expecting Lee Wood to stay with him.
Take it to him. He's probably not expecting that. You know, Lee Wood, he's actually got generous physical dimensions for a featherweight. He can punch too, perhaps not as hard as Mauricio Lara, but he does have power of his own.
Is he gonna win this fight?
And is that how all of this is going to play out? I will say it is
good.
Lee Wood's best bet.
It's a good plan.
It is, but there is developing a good plan and actually being able to execute it. When he feels Mauricio Lara's power,
Parrying shots and blocking shots. When he gets a taste of what this guy's got.
the thing about it is Mauricio Lara, once he gets going, once he starts opening up and putting punches together,
It becomes increasingly difficult to keep him off of you.
you know what the strategy is. Stay with him, stay within striking distance of him, and bait him to throw so you can counter what he throws.
Sounds good, though it's easier said than done.
Problem I got with this strategy is I don't know that Lee Wood is durable enough to execute this plan.
Yeah.
This strategy. This is a guy who got sat on his back pocket by Mick Conlon, and Mick Conlon, he don't hit nowhere near as hard as Mauricio Lara. So if Mick can put you down, Mauricio can put you down, and perhaps keep you down.
You got to trust that Lee Wood will be durable enough, at least long enough, to absorb what gets through and not go down, not go out.
Take the shot. Take the opening. For what it's worth, I think that either guy can stop either guy because either guy's been stopped before. You know, Lee Wood was stopped by Gavin McDonnell. Mauricio Lara,
He was stopped by Elliot Chavez about, 3-4 years ago? 2018?
both guys have been stopped before, and both guys, they've got power. They've got power of their own. I think the edge in power has to go to Mauricio Lara, but Lee Wood, he's not feather-fisted. He can punch.
Who's going to win a fight?
Well, it would be monumental if Lee Wood could deliver on his plan, his strategy, to take this guy out, knock him out in front of all those fans at Nottingham. But I'm not actually banking on that.
I don't really got a horse in the race.
Be happy for either guy if he won, though the guy I do think is going to win, I think it's going to be Mauricio Lara. I think it's going to be by way of knockout. I think that it's a good plan, Lee Wood's plan. It's a good plan on paper, but it's harder to execute than it looks on paper.
Mauricio Lara swings wide. Lee Wood likely hopes to catch him between the shots, but even though he swings wide, he puts together a lot of punches, and they're all heavy.
They're all heavy, heavy punches, upstairs, downstairs.
Fighter can say what he wants ahead of a fight. Once those punches start to land and he feels them opening up,
Guy might not want to open up once he starts to feel the shots. He might stay behind a shell, stop throwing punches altogether, get outworked, get taken out.
so I got Lara winning the fight.
Lee Wood winning this thing and winning this thing by way of knockout. It's not the craziest thing I ever heard. It could happen.
Anything can happen.
But what I feel is likelier to happen than not is a Mauricio Lara knockout, a devastating one. And just in keeping with the theme of all things Matchroom, Eddie Hearn had this to say about Anthony Joshua, who we all know is on the bounce. He said, a lot of unknowns about AJ, coming off 2 defeats, mentally, where is he at?
Well, for what it's worth, I think getting away from things a bit, being around Derek James and Errol Spence Jr., Jermel Charlo, those other fighters, I think it'll be good for him.
It's a good fight, Hearn told BoxingScene.com. Look, the haters will say Joshua's finished, mentally shot, but he'll knock Jermaine Franklin out inside of 3 rounds, and the others will say Jermaine Franklin beat Dillian White by 3 or 4 rounds, but he's a terrible opponent for Anthony Joshua. You can't really win. I think it's really...
It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of deal, especially for that guy.
I think it's a really credible fight to come back to. I think Franklin is good. I think there's a lot of unknowns about AJ. He's coming off of 2 defeats. Mentally, where is he at? How's he gonna look with a new trainer?
And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Almost any other fighter, under these same circumstances, coming off of 2 back-to-back losses to a high-level guy, another high-level fighter.
Guy coming off of 2 back-to-back losses, breaking in a new trainer, any other fighter, these guys would understand. These same guys that are criticizing Anthony Joshua and criticizing this fight, even though it's not even a box office fight.
It's not a pay-per-view, and you're still not happy?
What do you want? They should just give it away. Give it away for free. Is that what Tyson Fury would do?
Yeah, right.
It's a dangerous fight, Hearn said. I think when you're working with a new trainer, when you are asking yourself questions, when you may have self-doubt, the last thing you want to do is fight a guy who's, although he lost to White, coming with a lot of confidence because Franklin has realized that he can hang at that level. His style is not always suited to a stand-up heavyweight. I'm talking about a smaller heavyweight. Good movement, good chin, went 12 rounds with Dillian, and I think it's a great fight. A lot of people who are being honest think it's a very dangerous fight if AJ is not the fighter that he once was. And that is the question mark, because he puts a lot of pressure on himself.
And there is pressure on him to look good. This is a make-or-break fight for Anthony Joshua.
There is pressure on him to win, but not just win in style. Look good doing it, because if he can't opposite the ring of Jermaine Franklin, then he really isn't the same fighter that he once was. He really isn't the same fighter that he used to be.
He's fought a lot of solid fighters before. He doesn't get enough credit for that. Carlos Takam.
A crafty veteran, a crafty guy. Nobody ever looks good against Carlos Takam, an Olympic gold medalist and a hard puncher in Alexander Povetkin.
Unbeaten Dillian White, unbeaten Dominic Breazeale, unbeaten Joseph Parker.
If it were that Anthony Joshua, I think most people would be confident that he can stop Jermaine Franklin. The question is that the Anthony Joshua that stands before us here today? An Anthony Joshua who's being blasted for money.
Money being his motivation. Dimitri Salita says it will end badly for Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua who said, I love to fight. I like to make money. Money, money, money. Straight up. Answered Joshua when asked what drives him to compete again. This is a prize-fighting sport. I've been broke. And my family's been broke.
These comments from a few days ago.
Different people interpreted these comments in different ways. This seems a more jaded Anthony Joshua than the sportsman that he was before he lost that fight to Andy Ruiz at the pinnacle of his popularity.
He seemed more upbeat than he is now.
But perhaps it's asking too much of him to expect him to be upbeat coming off of 2 consecutive losses. Franklin's handler, Dimitri Salita, blasted Anthony Joshua for his honesty, saying that is not a good main motivator when you get into that ring, said Salita. It's one of the motivators when you are poor and trying to make it, but it should not be the motivator, especially when you tasted the golden pot.
Like I said, a lot of different people interpreted Anthony's comments in different ways. My interpretation?
He was just being honest. At least for now, he's out of the world title picture. The world title picture is congested.
There's Fury, there's Usyk, there's a host of mandatory challenges waiting in the queue for Lee Pergovic, Daniel Dubois,
and Joe Joyce, whereas Anthony Joshua, he's on the bounce. He's on the rebound, and he knows that. So I really don't even expect him to be upbeat right now.
He'd seem little more than a man putting on a brave face if he were upbeat right now.
So I don't think it the worst thing in the world that he chose to answer the question honestly. What motivates him to keep on fighting, at least right now, it's the money.
Not too hung up on things Anthony Joshua says.
Or any one thing that he said so much as what he did. He decided to change his decorum.
He hired Derek James, who's a hell of a trainer.
I think that's something more relevant to this conversation than any one thing Anthony Joshua said.